So I'm gonna be honest, this buff was way, way, way better than an MP buff. I'm telling you straight up, she, I think, is actually able to black rail. No, not fully black rail loop, but she's able to come very close, very, very close to being able to do like a full black rail loop. Um, if when they buff her MP, she is able to like she gets an overcharge and it works before damage, she's gonna be able to use just regular black rail, which I think is honestly more wild than it even sounds. Spoiler alert, this is what her damage is. Yeah, sorry. This is what her damage is, and this is what it's likely when she's not hitting chaotic, evil, or man attribute for farming. 337,000, and that's neutral damage. King Liang Yu, and also, she's almost hitting the cap. If she was evil or chaotic, or if she was chaotic evil, Lartoria would have actually hit the cap for PMod and MP damage. That's the kind of disgusting numbers Artoria is doing. Can't use Black Rail, but I am using Rising Mud Rain, which is black. It's like Heaven's Feel, but you get overcharge. And I think it also has the Black Rail demerit as well. Yes, it has the same curse. But yeah, this character looking so much better than she used to be. Again, this is more than a 50% increase in damage. And also this is MP1 and not even fully optimized. This character with an MP buff could be disgusting. And like now she's not even just a farmer. Now her multi-core potential is just as crazy, especially if you are using Knights of the Round Table. Bedivere is probably going to be one of the biggest people to benefit from a buff like this. Lancelot, yeah, any of the Knights of the Round Table. If you can fit them in for multi-core, they are going to pop the fuck off now. So, Artoria Pendragon Lancer. This is a character that got a lot of characters into FGO. Kadroth especially, he's been praying for this for a good couple years, and he's probably praying for that MP buff right now too. It's okay. It doesn't matter if your favorite character got buff. You still want them to be better. It's fine. It's just that now, if she gets an MP buff, she is actually going to be hitting harder than Meluko. Is she going to be as versatile as Meluko? No. But now she is in the same conversation. Yeah, like I said, she's hitting 330,000 damage neutral. Meluko, starting with 50%, is at 360. I didn't say she was matching Black Rail Meluko. But Black Rail Meluko also doesn't have extra traits besides man attribute. While Lartoria does have other traits that she can exploit. And even because of that, there actually is the risk of her overcapping. Again, if you're fighting Chaotic Evil, you probably don't even need Rising Mud Rain, and you could just use the Bunyan CE and probably get around the same amount of damage. It's a 35% reduction in MP damage. So when doubled with Oberon, that's 70. But if you're hitting Chaotic Evil, going back to this King Liang Yu example, minus 35, but plus 100 is still more than 550. So it would still cap out at 550 if they were man attribute as well. So there is a lot that kind of has to go into like this when you're talking about buff stacking to the point that you actually hit the cap. Your team comp really does have to change at that point. Because oversaturation in one buff type just leads to overall less damage. But enough talking. Let's get speculation. Enough talk about speculation. Let's talk about the raw stats. Base attack is slightly lower than 11k, not by a whole lot, but it's still lower than 11.5k. Is it that bad? Yes and no. Because of this, because she got her attack buff too, this really isn't the biggest of deals. I'm gonna be honest. Like a lot of the characters that have higher base stacks also don't have attack buffs. Not all of them. A good chunk of them do have attack buffs too, and they stack really well. But Liz Artoria's attack buff kind of brings her closer to where most 5 stars are normally. HP extremely tanky at 15.6k. Like this is definitely within the top 20 highest HPs in the game. Again, I don't have those numbers off the top of my head, but 15k is a lot normally. And like if you're pushing above 16k, there are not many servants that have HP that high. And level 120, she has 20k attack HP. Although most of the time it's like 22k because of foes. Again, go watch Kadroth if you want to see like a perfected Lartoria. MP charge 1.1%. It makes her quick card so much better. Honestly, as long as she's critting, like there is no issue with this refund. This is ridiculously high, but she needs to be critting. Yeah, she got the good end of the stick, especially because she's Buster. If she needs to card, she more likely than not is going to be critting. All right, so this buff right here is why she probably is more relegated to multi-core. And people were giving Lartoria so much shit because you could not double stack this. Because this wasn't a 3-turn buff, at least a Buster, it means that like turn 2 and turn 3 damage, it's not increasing the way you'd want. You can't pop this turn 1. At best, you pop it turn 2, and pretty much that's only if you're running a 50% CE. If you're running Rising Mud Rain, because Lartoria does not have like an extra 1 battery, you're stuck using a Vitch battery on turn 1 if you're trying Rising Mud Rain. So you can't even pop this back-to-back turns at that point. You have to like hold it for turn 3. If you have any type of high HP target, you're gonna run into issues with Rising Mud Rain, which, while it's nice she's able to do that, you have to also temper your expectations right now. The Rising Mid Rain is pretty much only if she's single core. This buff makes it she wants to do multi-core. So 1-turn Buster buff and power mod against chaotic and evil alignment, like I already said earlier. Again, because this is 1 turn, if it's multi-core and Lartoria isn't MPing the final turn, you can kind of pop this whenever for when Lartoria is MPing or critting or doing both, and she'll just do that wave much easier. Because power mods are in the same part of the formula as crit damage. So a crit that has 0% crit damage up and 100% power mod does the same damage as a crit with 100% crit damage and no power mod. They are in the exact same part of the formula, but obviously a non-crit with power mod will do more damage than a non-crit without a power mod. But yeah, people did not like this buff because it meant like Lartoria could not be doing the farming, and it kept her MP damage at such a low level that she has been memed on for years. The AoE riders are notorious for having extremely low MP damage, and Lartoria for the longest time wasn't doing that much better than them. Like her old Rising Mud Rain damage, half of what her bunion damage before is literally half of what her Rising Mud Rain damage is now. But because of this buff, it doesn't fucking matter at all. So they fixed the charisma. It was only 18% before. Now it's 20. They've been doing this for a while. It's like the numbers are just cleaner, and like for min turns, they'll be whining a lot less. Sorry, not sorry, but every percent matters in a min turn. This being capped out at 18 instead of 20 just made it like worse for her in the long run anyway. But in addition to fixing the attack, the entire party's MP damage goes up 20%. And the MP damage of all round table knight allies goes up by another 30%. And yes, she is a round table knight servant. Miss brought this up. Usually when characters get a buff like this, they are excluded from a buff like this. Instead, they let her keep it. So all of these servants get not only a 20% attack buff, but a 50% MP damage buff as well. This is Oni charisma on fucking steroids. Because Oni charisma is the attack and the MP damage is for one person. This is like more. This is more than even Oni charisma. Because of this restriction right here, it stops this from being the best charisma in the entire game. But in terms of pure damage output, especially when we're considering Oberon, when this is doubled for a Buster Servant, this is 40% attack and 100% MP damage for the party if you are a round table knight. That is more than Black Rail gives you. Like, a lot more than Black Rail can give you. The whole issue was that she couldn't double stack anything besides a weak charisma. That problem is gone. Now it just like the ultimate way to buff Artoria is to let her use Black Rail normally. I don't know if the game is in that state yet. I'll probably check on stream what the math would actually be. But you can already get her to use full Black Rail. You have to use Summer Chloe though. To have the like charge you need. You need to have Summer Chloe with Bond CE. And again, that racks up your party cost to such a high degree, it's just not recommended. You can do it. It's why I recommend people summon for Summer Chloe. But it's never going to be the most efficient bond farming unless everyone in that party is bond farming. Like Oberon, Vitch, their DPS, and Chloe, all of them need to be bond farming. And in my opinion, that is 3 supports that are getting leveled at once in high difficulty fights. Not only are you not gonna have CEs for like bond up, you can't bond farm another character. So again, those characters are the ones you're bond farming. There is no bond farming a character in the back line. Next, and this, like, it sounds lackluster compared to the rest of the kit, but this is still like really, really good. 50 battery and a full cleanse on a 6-turn cooldown, and this is great for buster farming. If some of your supports give demerits in farming in any kind, this is gonna cleanse it. That might be a good or bad thing depending on the character. If they get power up from having curse, say Van Gogh, do not run her with Artoria. Otherwise, you're gonna have a very bad time if you time it wrong. Like, say you pop Van Gogh, like get the curses out, but you cleanse, like you pop Artoria's battery before you pop Van Gogh's. Yeah, you're not gonna have a good time. Order of operation will always matter, although that is such a fringe case, you probably aren't even gonna worry about it. Passive skills, magic resists 17.5%, and riding A. Unlike Martha, this is actually good because her quick cards aren't bad. Are they amazing? No, but they're still better than average considering like this is almost a year 1 servant. She's a part 1 servant, but not year 1. So the fact that this upstairs looks as good as it is. Honestly, I'm glad she came out when she did. You don't want this for farming. This is situational. Again, I would ask Kadroth on more on this, but I do know you need this for black rail farming. If you're doing multi-core, it matters less, but you'd still probably want this if you're using a character with an AoE 30, again, like Koyan Dark. But since she wants round table knights and she's not animal characteristics, you're probably not running her with Koyan Dark. Anti-ruler. They're not going to bring a Lancer Fighter ruler, so this is literally last. She's not really crit DPS, so these two are meh. This is better than this, but again, you're probably not face carding. You're yeah, probably not unless you're doing a Buster Brave Chain. MP ignores invul for 1 turn and 20 battery at the end. Again, this has needed an MP buff, but right now we should not be talking about an MP buff for her. When the gap is closed again, as much as it was, this is a huge gap. Yeah, to finish off the video, I'm probably gonna do the Bunyan CE run, but let's look at the mats. Hit these, or no, I need like 100 and something on these on NA, and same here. Like, yeah, she needs a lot of gold mats that you would need for other characters, so just be aware of that. Bond CE, 20% attack and 20% MP damage while she's on the field. Suddenly this Bond CE makes a whole lot more sense. Although, obviously, you can't double stack this, but that does bring these values up to when double stack with Vich. 50% attack to the party and 110% MP damage. That is more than 2 Miss Crane pops, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so in general, Artoria's first skill is comparable to Miss Crane. Like the offensive buff she provides. Obviously not the rotations, but in terms of value, this is so much easier to pull off and actually execute. You just use double Vich than trying to set up to do 2 Miss Crane MPs back to back. Far, far easier. So, let me calc on here cranking. So, pardon the dust. I'm just gonna do this live. First day. Okay, so this is what farming is more accurately. Oh, okay. Well, this is what it's more accurately gonna look like. And honestly, right now, this is a whole lot cleaner. And if you need it, you could double pop this on turn 1 with a pen. Wait, is this on a... Okay, actually, yes. No. Okay. For multi-core utility, I would definitely be picking this up because it does give you the chance. If you do not pop this on turn 1, you do have the potential to double pop everything on turn 2. So if you need the extra buster up here along with the power mods, you can, but probably shouldn't save it for turn 3. Okay. Oh. Okay, so I'm actually curious if this is going to be higher than Rising Mudrain. Okay, so that is definitely interesting to note. her Rising Mud Rain damage isn't even that far off of her like normal starting from 50 damage. So on par with Romulus, even a little bit higher, and she has a lot of power mods, or she can really take advantage of the power mods. So yeah, this is the love she fucking deserved. She should have gotten a buff like this probably a few years ago, but honestly, it is better that they waited this long because it means the buffs can be stronger. As shown with Santa Martha, the sooner you get buffed from your release, the weaker the buff is. The longer the buff, the longer it's been since a character has gotten buffed, the more time they have to like know A, how they're gonna do future buffs, and B, what the character needs as soon as possible. Yeah, is she as good as Melusin? Nope. But they are slowly but surely bridging this gap between Melusin. Melusin is no longer the oppressive force that she used to be. No longer. Karna's been brought up. Aresh has been brought up multiple times. Lartoria just got this huge glow up. I think Romulus is up next for getting buffs. And they honestly might buff Lartoria again before they even touch Melusin. I would not be surprised if both Romulus and Lartoria all got another buff before they even think about buffing Melusin. Again, that's how strong Melusin has been. 4 years, and no one thinks this character needs a buff. Alright, peace. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you enjoyed, drop a like or sub. Hope to see you in the next one. Peace.